Hi, I'm Carl Safina. I'm an ecologist and a writer, and it's a pleasure to be speaking to you today about Rachel Carson. I'm a writer largely because of Rachel Carson. The power of her most famous book, Silent Spring, really shows what words and a book can do to affect positive and needed change in the real world. But it's not as simple as that I read her book and I became a writer. I first read Silent Spring as an adolescent. I'd been hearing about this book and I'd been hearing about DDT when I was about 13 years old. And I started reading the book in the back seat of my parents' car. The book upset me so much that I had to put it down. In fact, I didn't have the courage to go back and read the whole thing until I was in college. But I had read enough to recognize some things that I saw. When I was coming home from school one day, I saw people spraying a neighbor's trees, and insects were falling out of those trees into the street, and robins had come and were eating the insects. And I saw a couple of robins going into convulsions right there in the street in front of me. I knew exactly what I was looking at because I had read enough of Silent Spring. A little while after that, somebody I knew took me fishing on a pond in the woods in the east end of Long Island. At the shore of the pond was a gigantic stick nest. I knew it had been made by ospreys, but because of Silent Spring, I also knew that ospreys were almost gone, that DDT and the other hard pesticides was causing their eggs to break, that the adults were dying off. And I couldn't believe that in my lifetime I had just missed birds who were capable of making such a magnificent nest, and I would probably never see them. When I was in high school, the peregrine falcon was believed doomed. People thought that because of the pesticides, it would go extinct. Nothing could be done to save it. But several people who had read Rachel Carson's work decided that they would sue to stop the widespread spraying of DDT in an effort to save ospreys and peregrine falcons and bald eagles. They won. And when I was in high school, DDT was banned. And when I was in college, some people thought that if we could breed peregrine falcons in captivity and reintroduce them, they might have a chance of coming back. I actually got a job in college reintroducing some of the first captive-bred peregrine falcons. And yes, that is me in the good old days. Hard to believe now, I know. Over the next 10 years, I helped monitor the recovery of peregrine falcons from rare to common, and nobody knew if they would really recover, but they did. They've come back magnificently, as have bald eagles, as have the ospreys. And when I see them, I always think about Rachel Carson and the example that she shows. In fact, now I teach graduate students, and in my class, I always show a film about Rachel Carson, not because she is history, but because courage and determination and commitment are a living example of what we can do to protect what we love and keep it in the world, even if it makes us very uncomfortable doing that. You know, Rachel Carson was a shy person who really didn't want the spotlight. She allowed herself to be thrust into that spotlight and into all of that controversy to protect what she loves. She wasn't really a warrior, she was really a lover. She was in love with the living world. And I guess if you think about it, if you think about what this shy, reluctant person did, then maybe, I guess you would have to conclude that despite her best intentions, Rachel Carson was, in fact, a warrior for what she loved. I'm Carl Safina.